Namah Parvati Pataye Govindanam Sankirtanam.
Namaste everyone. Namaste. Very happy to be here for the next session of Bhagavatam. We have been telling about the Dhuruvan story and the progenies of Dhuruvan, and we have seen Angan family. Before starting Bhagavatam, we'll start with an invocation, that is prayer. Shuklam Bardharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnobhishantaye. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Sarva Lokanam, Vishaje Bhavaroginam, Deye Sarva Vidyanam, Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. தென்னாடுடைய பெரியவா போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி சர்வஜா சர்வவியாபி பெரியவா சரணம் மாயப் பிறப்பருக்கும் மகா பெரியவாடி போற்றி ஜன்மாத்யஸ்யேதோ அன்வயாதித்ரதஸ்தாசாஸ்தேஷோ விக்னஸ்வராட் தேனே பிரம்மஹிருதாய ஆதிகவயே முஹ்யந்தி யத் சூரயः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा दाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तगुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. We have seen this, we have seen Angan's story. Last time we have seen Angan's story and Venan's story. How the cruel Venan, he killed all, he did all the, irreligious activities. And now Venan, he was killed by all the sages, by Hunkar. And then without the ruler, the kingdom should not be without a ruler. So they want a ruler, and by churning the Venan's arms, they got Prithu and Archis came there, and Prithu became the king of the kingdom, and because of Prithu only Prithvi, the earth became Prithvi, called as a Prithvi, and all the dharmam and everything, he has to revive all the dharmam, and he has to bring back all the dharmam which was upside down, upside down before. And now he started telling about the progenies of all the Prithu and Archis. And now Sukacharya started talking about telling the Prithu's Charitram. He told the Charitram of Prachinabarhisat. This Prachinabarhisat is a descendant of Prithu Maharaj. King Prithu's, actually King Prithu's son is Vijitaswa. With this Vijitaswa, he received a title from Indran called Antardhana. Antardhana is a title given by Indran to Vijitaswa, who is the son of King Prithu. This Antardhana, his wife is Sikandini. This Sikandini, and they got 3 sons. As Antardhana, with his wife Sikandini, has got 3 sons named Pavaka, Pavamana, and Suchi. There are the 3. They are the 3 personalities of fire god. Okay, the Antardhana got another wife, and her name is Nabhaswati, and they got a son called Havirdhana. There'll be lot of names in Bhagavatam. There are a lot of names. Don't have to remember all the names, but but chanting all the names gives us punya. That's what it is. That is what it is said. So this Havirdhana, the son of Antardhana, had a wife called Havirdhani, who gave birth to 6 sons named Barhisat, Gaya, Shukla, Krishna, Satya, and Jitavrata. So this now this Havirdhana's son Barhisat. Now this is the story is about him only. This Barhisat. His name is Barhisat. What happened is he started performing lot of yajnams and yagams and homams, and he became known as Prajapati. So he's a Prachinabarhisat now. So he married a Satadruti. He is so fond of doing all this karma. Karma means yagam and yajnam. So much of yagam, so much of yajnam for each of his wants. He wants to do something. He gets it. See, that is why he's addicted to that, doing karmas for all of his wants. Once Narada came. Narada, he is a great sage, always chanting Narayana's name. So he met him and told this Puranjanopakyanam, a story which is so philosophical, and the crux of the story is so subtle. So it goes like this, there is a king called Puranjanan, and his friend is called Avijñādan. So when Prachinabarhisat, the story is told by Narada, and before that, this Prachinabarhisat, what happened is when Narada came, this Prachinabarhisat, he welcomed Narada. He told that he wanted to, he was doing so much of, Narada asked, why are you doing so much of yaham and homam and everything? Because this is a karma, this gives me everything. When I do some homam, that is for my some want. I have a want and I'm doing this homam for getting that want, and I'm getting that. That's what I want. But that's not enough. Narada said that's not enough. That's why he told. Now this Prachinabarhisat asked Narada to kindly instruct him the pure knowledge. So what is the pure knowledge then? He wanted the pure knowledge to be instructed from Narada so that he can get out of this entanglement of doing this fruitive activities. So the great sage Narada said, don't worry, please, okay, don't worry. I will, see in the sky. See, the great Narada said, see in the sky. See those animals, those animals which you have sacrificed without compassion and without mercy in this sacrificial, arena. These animals were angrily waiting for you. See, those animals are there in the sky. See there in the sky. Okay, when you see there, they are all angrily waiting for you to come after your death to take revenge. In this connection, he narrates the Puranjanopakyanam story. This is called Puranjanopakyanam. So he started telling, Narada started telling Puranjanopakyanam to Prachinabarhisat. Once, in the past, lived a king named Puranjana, who was celebrated for his great activities. He has got a friend called Avijñāta. Avijñāta means unknown one. So no one could understand the activities of this Avijñāta. The activities of it. The king Puranjana began to search a suitable place to live in. So thus he traveled all over the world. He couldn't find anywhere to live in. Even after traveling, he could not find a place just to his liking. So finally, he became morose and disappointed. That is, he became disappointed. He became very unhappy, and but he found a feeling of insufficiency everywhere. So once while wandering like this, in this way, he saw on the southern side of the Himalayas, in a place named Bharatavarsham, a city that had 9 gates all about, and was characterized by all auspicious facilities. So he saw a house. He saw a house. That is what is given. He saw a house with 9 gates. King Puranjana suddenly come in contact with a very beautiful woman. She has, he saw that very beautiful woman there, but she had 10 servants with her. And each servant had hundreds of wives accompanying him. So the woman was protected on all sides by, by a fire. Fire-hooded snake. By all sides of by fire-hooded snake. So she was very beautiful. She was young, and she appeared very anxious to find a suitable husband. So Puranjana, here our hero, that is the hero of the story, the Puranjana, became attracted, and they both got married and lived in the same house. After some years, the house got fire, and his wife burnt inside the house, and Puranjana lamented for the loss of his wife. In the next, the next birth or the Janmam, Puranjana took birth as a female and his wife as a male and the male. So thus it continues. So thus sage Narada stopped here, told the story to Prachinabarhisat about this, and he said, I don't understand. Prachinabarhisat said, I don't understand all these stories. Now the Narada explains the story. See, the Puranjanan, which was described here, is the Jivatma, and this Abhijnadam described here is the Paramatma. He said, my dear king, Prachinabarhisat, like you, this Puranjana also became implicated into so many desires. Thus he worshipped all the devatas, demigods, forefathers, and social leaders, with various sacrifices, which were all very ghastly, because they were inspired by the desire. They are all inspired by the desire to kill animals or sacrifice or give sacrifice or do homums and sacrifice and get whatever you want. So this Puranjanan, Jivatma, after taking various births like dogs and birds and animals, cows, at last he was interested in taking the human form, the form of a human. So human body. So the human body has got 9 gates, isn't it? 7 gates above the neck and 2 below the neck for excretion. So through this only the Jivatma should go. That's enter. Above all, there, all these 9 gates. Above all that is mind. Okay, that mind becomes his wife. Okay, 9 gates, with all the 9 gates, the house is here, and the mind is the wife. Okay, the mind is the wife. She was protected by 5-hooded snake, which is called Panchaprana. The wife is protected by Panchaprana, means the mind is protected by Panchaprana. See, all the other servant maids, they have got all the 100 husbands or wives, isn't it? So all those are manovrittis. So the house got into fire, which means one day this body goes into fire. That means one day this body goes into fire. At that time, we always be, attractive to our mind. will be very much attached to our mind at that time. So, which is his wife. That is, he thinks about his wife, and his wife thinks about the husband. And at the last moment, so they take the birth. They take the birth again and again. Afterwards, Mahan will teach him. Mahan will teach him, to think of Paramatma. That is called Avijñātan. Avijñātan is a friend of us. He's always with us, but we ignore. But we ignore our friend. He's always with us to teach good things. So they preach him to live accordingly, according to the Vedic, scriptures. So this story was told by Narada to Prachinabarhisat to leave all the fruitive activities and surrender himself to Paramatma. So the Prachinabarhisat god, after that, Prachinabarhisat became the ruler, and he got 10 kids. They are all called Prachetas. Prachetas. All the 10 kids are called. They worship Lord Shiva, and it goes like that. That is it goes like that, Prachetas story and all. So these are the 4th canto. And the 4th canto of Bhagavatam now comes to end and was told by Maitreya to Vidura. Now, this is the very good canto. This is the 5th canto. 5th canto, now it begins. The 5th canto is, the 5th canto was told by Sukacharya independently. It's not told by Maitreya to Vidura somewhere. It's not like that. It's told by Sukacharya independently. So this is the Jatabharata's Charitram. This is a very good Charitram. I like this Charitram very much. This chapter in this canto describes about Priyavrata. See, previously we were talking. See, this is this should be continuously, the Bhagavatam. You should hear Bhagavatam continuously, so that you can get hold of all the names. That is, previously we have told about Uttanapada and Priyavrata. Isn't it? Uttanapada got this Dhruvam, and Dhruvan Charitram, we saw that Dhruvan Charitram. Here, this is a Priyavratan. Priyavratan, who is the brother of Uttanapadan. This King Priyavrata was detached, completely detached from all the worldly opulences, and then he became attracted to his kingdom. Then he became, and that story is a different story, how he became attracted, because he is not attracted towards the kingdom. Some, say the sages will say that you have to enter into Grihasthaśrama to give, beautiful sons and daughters. So he became attached to this kingdom, but finally he again became detached from the material enjoyment, and then he achieved liberation. So when King Parikshit, Parikshit was hearing from Sukacharya, isn't it? When King Parikshit heard about this, he was struck with wonder. He was somewhat bewildered, like as to how a devotee with no attachment for material, enjoyment could later become attached to it. How it is possible? See, thus, in astonishment, he questioned. Now Sukacharya said, the transcendental knowledge attained by this Parikshit, Priyavratan, cannot be deviated by any material influences. This transcendental knowledge was attained by Priyavratan through sage Narada, but he accepted the kingdom, however, at the request of Lord Brahma and Lord Indra. That's how he became attached. He's never attached. It's said that it's a form, like, everything is under the control of the Supreme Personality only, Supreme, Almighty, and everyone must work accordingly. We can't have our own decisions. It's all already destined by the Almighty. So here, Maharaja, Priyavrata, following the instructions of Lord Brahma, accepted the royal throne and married Barhismati, the daughter of Vishwakarma. They got 10 sons. The first son is Agnidran. He ruled the kingdom. Agnidaran ruled the kingdom after Priyavardhan, but Agnidaran was attracted towards girls and, and flattener, but he married uh, Purvasiti, and they got 9 sons. The first one is called Nabi. And all these 9 sons married 9 daughters of Meru. So Nabi's wife is Meru Devi. Nabi's wife is Meru Devi. So now this Agnidaran went to the forest, leaving his kingdom. With the Agnidaran, he went to the forest, leaving his kingdom to Nabi. Now, Nabi did not have any issues now. So he wished to have sons, and so along with his wife Meru Devi, he performed yajna. Now, Nabi very attentively, means very devotingly, he began to offer prayers and worships to the Lord. And what happened is Bhagavan came directly appeared from the yajna. He directly appeared from the yajna with his 4 arms, Kanchi, Chakram, and Kaustubam. And he was a very, very, very bright, he was seeing the Lord present before him. King Nabi couldn't speak. He couldn't speak because in front of you the Lord is appearing. The Lord is appearing. So he couldn't speak. So the Lord present before him appeared and he couldn't speak. He found no words, nothing to ask. After seeing the Lord, after seeing the Lord, one ceases to be attracted, by anything material, isn't it? So this is true, because if you go to an Acharya, and if we remain, if we remain there, study in his worship, even though we want to ask so many things, we'll be there standing. We'll go stand before the Acharya, will simply get the kumkumam and vibhuti and come back. We'll be thinking that we have to ask this and that, but after that we'll forget everything. That is how the tejas of the Swami, tejas of the sages or tejas of the Paramatma will be, isn't it? So, but actually this Nabi performed this yajna to get sons, isn't it? So all the priests there seeing the Lord, wished a son for a king. They all wished a son for the king. They said, our king has to be blessed with a son. Just like you, our king has to be blessed with a son, just like you. And when the Lord heard that, and the Lord said, nobody can be like me. Only I have to be like me. So I have to, so if you have prayed for the benediction for a son like me, for King Nabi, but this is very difficult to obtain, since I am the Supreme Lord without the second, and since no one can be equal to me. Another personality like me is not possible to find out. So what happens? So I shall personally explain, expand myself. I can personally expand myself and thus advent myself in the womb of Meru Devi. So his wife, the wife of Nabi. Thus he took the avataram as Rishabhadevar. Now the Rishabhadevar. So now this Rishabhadevar is a very, very saintly person. Now he ruled the kingdom, marrying Jayanti. When the Lord incarnates, he expands himself in different potencies. After giving the kingdom to Rishabhadevar, his father, King Nabi, went to Badrikashram. So King Rishabhadevar, who, this king Rishabhadeva ruled the kingdom, and he was appreciated by the people as the most exalted and beautiful personality of that age, So his pious influence, strength, and enthusiasm, bodily luster, and other transcendental qualities were beyond comparison, beyond compare. During his reign, although there was a scarcity of rain, Rishabhadeva did not care for Indra. Indra is Indra, the king of heaven. He is the lord of rain, isn't it? Who is the change? Is in charge of supplying rain. So through his own potency, Rishabhadeva, covered the whole universe with rain. Lord Indra became very happy and gave his daughter Jayanti to Rishabhadeva. So Rishabhadeva married Jayanti and begot 100 children. They got 100 children. Rishabhadeva and Jayanti got 100 children. The eldest one is called Bharata. That is why the land is called once again called Bharata Varsham. His name is called Bharata. Before Bharata ruled the land, this was called Ajanabham. The land is called Ajanabham. So one day, what happened? He called his 100 children to the kingdom. They all thought that he is going to, give some instructions. But he said, I'm going to give, some instructions. And he said that I'm going to stay here only for some time, only for an hour. And I'm going to take, Avaduda Shariram after 1 hour. Means after some time, I'm going to take an Avaduda Shariram after some time. And I'm going to stay here only for some time. So then there will be no relation between you and me. So the children became very sad and cried. Here, the Rishabhadeva started to teach the Bhagavata Dharma, religious principles, in devotional service, which will transcend them for liberation and the mitigation of the material misery. So then the Rishabhadeva's the slogam of Bhagavatam, which Rishabhadeva gives to his sons, is like this: that Rishabhadeva, he says, told his sons, that is, the Rishabhadeva told his sons, my dear boys, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night, simply for sense gratification. One can attain the path of liberation from the material bondage only by rendering service to the Mahangal. Whether one wants to merge into the Lord's existence or wants to associate with the God, one should render service to Mahatmas, Mahangal. One cannot attain Chitta Suddhi merely by reading books. They have to prostrate before Mahatmas, render service to Mahatmas. Then only these Mahatmas, they preaches the Bhagavad Gunam. They preaches the Bhagavad Gunams, or the glories of the Lord. This human form for us was not given merely to enjoy the material existence. This is a Bhagavatam slogan. This means the meaning of Bhagavata slogan given by Rishabhadeva here. Then, why we have taken the human form? They ask. Then why we have taken the human form? This human form is given to us to engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. Otherwise, an animal form, take for example, a pig or a dog. or whatever it is, they can't do tapas. They cannot do tapas. Only a human being should try to live in a different way and should not try to imitate this dog and pigs. They should not live like dogs and pigs. So the alternative is mentioned. The alternative is mentioned. The human life is meant for tapasya, Bhagavata Aradhana, penance. By tapasya or Bhagavata Aradhana, one can get out of this material, clutches. By devotional service, one's existence is purified. That is, Andhakaranam is purified. When Andhakaranam is purified, when inside this Andhakaranam is purified, what happens? One gets the Adhyatma happiness, Adhyatmika happiness, isn't it? Then one becomes eligible to see the Bhagavan's, Ananda Rupam. Ananda Rupam one can see. So merely bookish knowledge never helps. Reading books or by-hearting slogans or by-hearting things never helps. For that, one should associate himself with the Mahangals. Those Mahans or those Mahatmas who will not mingle with those who are simply interested in maintaining the body, who are simply interested in maintaining or attached to homely comforts in the company of wife, children, friends, and so forth, isn't it? So they are samachittas. They are samachittas. They have controlled their sense organs and they never get angry. Mahangals are like that. They are compassionate and always in the path of bhakti yogam, isn't it? Bhakti yogam is nothing but shravanam, kirtan, Vishnoho smaranam, pada sevanam, archanam, vandanam, dhasyam, sakyam, atmanivedanam. That is what is called as bhakti, isn't it? So these Mahangals are, Sadgurus, always, even if they are grahasthas, even they never attach themselves to the material world or people around. Though they, talk as if they were attached, actually they have only Bhagavan in that chitta. They just talk like that, but we should not, we should not get deceived by that. So it is said that they live a life in the world as a, they have explained this. They have explained this in Bhagavatam. They live in this world just like a dasi who smiles and invites people to get money, but she doesn't love them. She doesn't love them actually. See, they say, oh, mind, learn to live like that. Learn to live like that. Actually keep the mind on Bhagavan. Actually keep your mind on Paramatma, on Bhagavan, and do your work, your duty. So Rishabhadeva taught this spiritual lifestyle to all the 100 children, and they also taught, he also taught all the 26 ways to lead the body. See, I think the time is up, and we will continue with the next session, because the Rishabhadeva has told so many upadesams to their children, to all the 100 children, and it is not like we can stop here, and we will continue the Rishabhadeva's teaching to all the children in the next session. So we will complete this session with Purnamadam. And in the next session, we'll continue the Rishabhadeva's Upadesam and the Jatabardas Charitram. This Jatabardas Charitram is will be very, very, very beautiful Charitram, which I personally love to hear. I have heard about Jatabardas Charitram, or I have learned, or I have, read this Jatabardas Charitram umpteen times. I love this Jatabardas Charitram. So we'll conclude this Bhagavatam here, and we'll continue in the next session. We'll say Purnamadam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.